Hey guys, hope you're all well. I wanted to do a quick video today off the back of the online workout that I released this morning. So we're in week 4 of lockdown. That's in the UK, if anyone's wondering where we're from. But week 4 of lockdown, day 2. And in my online daily workout that I was setting the guys, I was starting to go on to explain the importance of starting to get back under a barbell now, starting to create ways in which they can create intensity in their workout through finding weights and also getting under the barbell for keeping skills nice and fresh. And as I started to explain that to guys on the video, I realized that perhaps not everyone understands why you have to do that. You know, is this just some dude saying it because he likes CrossFit and he thinks everybody should? Is this, someone just trying to, promote a gym or whatever? And it's neither of those. It's something a lot more serious, I believe, and something that I'm a lot more passionate about. It's about understanding why training properly, training with intensity, and training as a lifelong part of your life is so important. Okay, so let's establish a fact. Okay, once we're in adulthood, we're all biologically on a bit of a decline. Okay, unfortunately, we know what happens at the end of that decline. We can't fight that. We can't stop that. Okay, it doesn't have to be sad or depressing because we like to control the controllables. If something exists that you don't like and you can change it, change it. It'll feel good to change it and take action. If you have no control over something, then there's little point worrying about it. It's going to happen no matter what. Don't stress it, okay? And that's one of those things, that biological deterioration over time is inevitable. So nothing to worry about. The beautiful side of this is the physical deterioration that we think comes hand in hand with that kind of biological downward trend doesn't have to exist. Okay, that physical deterioration can be virtually eliminated, and in some cases we can actually improve upon it throughout our whole lives. Okay, and that's where I come into being really passionate about this subject and why I live my life the way I do, why I like to train, and why I want to share my understanding of this in the hope that it infuses other people or helps other people to understand why they should be listening to certain people or why they should be looking to find knowledge and information on training and training appropriately. So I've read a lot of studies over the last 5 years that have been really encouraging in the kind of data that comes out in terms of how capable our physical bodies are if we're exposed to the right kind of training consistently enough, and we have a bit of luck, of course, exceptions being, acute diseases or accidents, etc., that we can't really do a deal about. That's unfortunate. That's going to happen. Of course, that's going to have consequences. But assuming we don't have any of those kind of terrible things, and we're managing to keep chronic disease at bay a little bit more because we're looking after our health and our lifestyle, we can actually maintain a really good level of physical ability, fitness, capacity to really lay on in our lives. And I think that's a wonderful thing. However, to do that, we need to train properly. Now, firstly, yes, it needs to be relative to us. I'm not suggesting everybody should train like an athlete. However, most people probably should train under the same principles of an athlete. Okay, so you might not train with the same commitment and dedication, the same obsessiveness that some of those guys display, the same intensity always, but the principles that guide what they do really should be applying to all of us, okay, especially in our lives, in our society where we're not particularly physically active people generally, and even those guys and girls that have active jobs, they tend to be quite repetitive and physically monotonous jobs, so they're even still not great long term because our body's really craving a slightly more varied environment and slightly more sort of intense stressors, if you like. Okay, so in order to be this person I'm talking about that manages to avoid this physical decline, and with it, the mental and the health decline that often comes correlated with it. What do we need to do? Basically, we need to train with intensity. We need to train with increasing what strength and conditioning likes to term as progressive overload, with increasing amounts, increasing demands on the body, or increasing performance on the body, which will increase the demands on the body, so that the body can continue to adapt. Let's have a quick look at an example. If someone comes in one day and their squatting ability is here, so this is bad, this is good, and they're here, they come in and squat near this, the body's going to go, okay, that was testing. I'm going to get a little bit better at that so that I can handle this environment that I've been exposed to. So it improves. Okay, they get stronger, their nervous system improves, their all the things that happen to get better happen. Okay, what they then need to do next time is come in and they need to squat a little bit more again to push the body up and up and up. Okay, and through that, instead of being on this physical trajectory down, they can create a physical trajectory up. Now, I often hear from people, yeah, but I don't want to be an athlete. I don't want to be a bodybuilder. I don't want to be a powerlifter. I don't want to be hench. I don't want to get massive muscles. And I know those people will often listen to this kind of example and think, well, that doesn't apply to them. They could come in with this much squatting ability and they can squat this, and then they can always squat this amount. They don't really need to be increasing their intensity. So this is for you guys. Watch what happens here. You come in with this squat capacity, you squat that much, your body goes excellent and comes up there. Next day you come in and squat pretty much the same again, or next time, next week, next block, whatever. And your body goes, well, actually, I increased last time because I was squatting close to my ability. I've increased. Now I've done the same squat, and actually this is really easy for me now, so I don't need to be up here. I'm going to drop back down to here. Okay, so we've lost that improvement. It gets worse. Now you go and squat the same again. This is now your fourth arbitrary time moment of squatting. So you've got better at squatting because you've improved your exposure to it. You've got better at practice, technique, etc. So now, although you're squatting the same and it looks like it's the same effort and you'd expect your body to do that, the body's better at squatting now. So it's finding it even easier. So it drops even more. So you started here, went to here, drop back down to here. Now you're worse than where you started, yet you're still squatting the same. Now, it's obviously a simplified version of things, but if you can imagine how that pans out over a lifetime, over months, years, and decades, that still allows you to end up on a downward trajectory, that physical decline with age. And that's what we're looking to avoid. So what we need to do is create intensity. We need to always look to improve, okay? Whether that's through lifting heavier, doing something faster, improving technique, which might allow us to then go heavier or faster, all that kind of stuff. So to do that, we need to make sure we're tracking. Now, I always suggest you guys use our Wodify app, and I do recommend doing that. It's like calorie tracking for meals. You can get around without doing it, but if you're certainly struggling or you're new to it, try it, and it's like mind blowing for most people. Okay, so track your workouts through our app, or any other way you want to. Write them down, keep track of them in your head if that works for you. But if it doesn't work, be honest with yourself and say, I've done that for a few weeks, it's not working, and maybe make the effort to record it properly. It's only through recording stuff or tracking stuff that you can truly say whether or not you're progressively overloading, that you're improving, that you're increasing the demand on the body. Okay, so that's quite important. Another thing we get, which is awesome in CrossFit, is we get lots of kind of competitiveness, but in a very kind of supportive environment. So, we're all high-fiving and encouraging people, and no one wants anyone to do badly. And there's nothing, as annoying as it might be, there's nothing better than seeing your buddy or your training partner or something kind of smash a time, and even if it means they beat you a little bit, that's awesome. It's quite hard to get that competitive intensity or that in-person motivation when you've got no one training with you. You know, you never work as hard, you never run as fast as when you've got someone a meter behind you breathing down your neck. You never burpee as fast as when you've got someone that you know you're always close to working out in front of you, and they seem to always be a second ahead. Okay, so these things do push us. Okay, so we need to find ways to get around that. We need to be aware of that and find ways to stop that being an issue. And then, one really easy way we add intensity in CrossFit is to just add weight. You know, we just want to go heavier. Now, we haven't got a lot more kit left in the gym. Most of it's been given out, so I could maybe help someone out with a pair of 25s. But generally, you guys that have already got the kit, great. You've got some, go with it. Make it work for you. Obviously, if it's not relatively heavy enough for you, you can just increase reps. If you guys haven't got stuff, it is probably worth now investing in some if you can afford that. And if you can find it stops. Otherwise, it hasn't got to be expensive. You know, find a heavy log in the forest, or an old tree in a garden that needs chopping down, or big the builders tubs, rubber builders tubs. They're really big. What are they, 25, 35 litres? Fill that with water, fill that with soil. Tie a bit of rope around it, pull it, push it, whatever, pick it up. That's going to give you a good strength stimulus as well. Okay, so there's things we can do, but the point of what I was saying to people this morning is, but we need to do something. And it needs to be more than, it's lovely, we all got this time to go out and exercise for an hour, go for a bike ride, go for a walk for an hour. But that's not necessarily going to be enough in terms of the intensity and the progressive overload that we need to get us off of this downward trend. Okay, and that's what I want to see my team, people in my box, my community, people I know, people that I talk to. I want to see them all starting to arrest this curve and starting to bring it back up, so that we can all live really healthy, happy, useful lives, and be really good examples and rub off on everyone else.